go ahead and start the actual review portion
The
here.
struggle for martial
Cool.
superiority.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
You seem familiar.
Okay.
Killed you
Standard
before.
peak. Yeah, okay. Great. If they're just gonna let you, we'll take it. What's that?
Usually I go top right, not this place, but many times I go this place and I
Mhm.
find a surprise. I find a McCree, I find a Roadhog, I find I don't know, Doomfist, I find I just hate that place. Whenever I peek there, someone is waiting for me.
Sure.
So I just keep
Sure.
it.
And I'm probably good with that. I might have
Yeah.
wanted at least a quick look across type thing. Like, you've sort of got the foot blocking for you, so maybe that's okay. I might have liked a little check over here before we fully scoped in. That said, there's shots to be had. We'll take that. If there's someone over here, there's very likely that you can step left and drop to protect yourself. So,
Yeah, and
we'll-
there's Mega on my left, and
Yep.
when I go there, I'm just dead, and it's just it happened to me too much.
Sure.
I would just shoot main.
I mean, it's okay with me because there's shots to be had down main here. Like, if there wasn't shots to be had down main, you'd need to look, and then you'd need to potentially go, okay, fine, do I need to think on my next grapple of transitioning here, or do I need to walk my way up here and take shots from here? You know, like, those would be things that we'd think about, but there were shots to be had down main. They fortunately are not playing particularly tight on their cover, so we're good with it, especially when we've already gone up like this. Okay.
Yeah, and I noticed the Ana here. I waited for second peak, but
Yep. Okay. And it's unfortunate they started to trade back some, and you guys really are threatening in one direction here, right? Like, this really is the one directional threats, and I know you've told me why you don't like this way, but we're getting into the place where this fight is going to go long enough for you to get a second grapple, and so we're going to want to exactly go right here. Okay, not a big deal. Okay. We probably wanted to actually send that up, but okay. Sure.
yes. Now I know there is Doomfist and McCree, and I should deal with the Doomfist. He's my main. His guy is coming for me, so I was thinking about.
Sure, he's your nemesis now. I get it.
Stay near my team. So here I'm expecting some support, but it's fine. We won.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm necessarily
It's
expecting
fine.
support. It makes it harder for him, certainly, but what's really made it harder for him is that you've played at a distance where he has to use multiple abilities to roll out on you, and you have a little more time to take your shot on him that makes this harder. But yeah, you are correct to make this a long sightline that he has to come down here. And then, unfortunately, we don't quite hit that, and we've got to go like this. Not the end of the world.
I died. I died to a nade.
Yep.
It was actually
Yep.
not supposed to me.
Not the end of the world. Go ahead.
Also, if I have like more experience with Widow, I would go to the high ground on my left.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to get into.
I don't have experience in this situation. So when I want to look at that again, I said, oh, I should have went to this place. Not because it was a random. It was just a random.
Yep. He's going to break line of sight on you if he's any good. He's out of abilities, but he's going to break line of sight on you and go for, circle around. But while he's circling around, you potentially get a quick elimination on the Ana, something like that. And then as he starts to circle around, you might walk towards your team. You might not. Doesn't really matter. It's can you trade out enough quickly enough? But that's fair.
Locked and set.
Join me in glory!
Okay. This is clear. If you saw what happened to the Doomfist, you'd be a little more willing to do this. Okay. I don't really like this. And why don't I really like this?
I don't know. In my point of view, is that I don't know where are they, and I want to position myself. So I have. Are they at the choke? And my team was not. They were not talking. To be honest.
Sure. And I get it. Your
They
team's
were
not talking, and you want information. But usually, what you're gonna do is Is the opposing team ready to fight you?
I don't know.
Yeah, so what
Then
happened is you just capped. Like if you look at this, you go,
yeah.
we
No
capped,
one can
and now I pop
hide
it.
from
And
my
if you think about
sight.
enemy team behavior, I mean, you've been the enemy team in this situation, you might contest before the thing caps, but if the cart caps, a one team fight right now, the cart, no matter what happens, is going to slowly open this garage, roll out here, wait, and then the garage is going to close, and then it's going to be willing to start going, right? But there's like 3-4 seconds of downtime where the cart just can't, no one can influence the cart, right?
Okay.
So
I
with that
can
in,
and
go ahead.
yeah. Yeah. Tell me.
Okay. With that in mind, and the fact that your guys' spawn just moved to here, winning a team fight for the opposing team, well, it certainly has some value right now, has less value than usual, right?
Hmm.
Like if they'd won it while there was still progress left at 99%, you guys' spawn is back there, no problem. If they win it now, the card is still moving during the actual fight, which they don't like, and your spawn is right here. Now spawn camping is good. There's nothing wrong with, them winning and then spawn camping you, that sort of thing. But if they try to take a fight here, it means they're not going to get a fight either at this choke or around siege tank here. And these are better fights than this one is, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if they want to fight here, they might push forward and turn into spawn camping you, but it would be unusual for them to try to push forward and try to do this right now while the cart is in its unmovable phase, and also while their Anna is in spawn, right?
Yeah. Also, yeah. I remember that I tap and I saw they have a widow. So
Okay,
now I have no. Is she like in the mega in the
hmm
door? Yeah. I was thinking maybe she's going to peek from the door in front of me.
sure,
On
sure.
the yeah. So I said, is there someone is waiting for me here, like a widow, or maybe she's controlling the choke? So I just and also my Reinhardt was staying there. The position I don't know. He was staying there. I thought he's going like is he staring at someone? Is someone is like is there someone at the choke?
hmm Sure.
So yeah, so I just press Q and look if I can go to the right room or not.
Sure. So I'd have still liked to delay this queue, and the reason I want to delay this queue is I want to use the infocytes right
Hmm.
before the team fight is ready to happen, because then the opponents have to decide, are we actually going to take the team fight while you have sights, or are we going to give up 15 seconds of cart progress, 15 seconds of positioning, that sort of thing. I don't think the opponents were ready to take this fight right now. Now, you might be thinking, Temporal, they're not ready to take the fight, but they are potentially ready for Widow to get a surprise peek. This isn't really a surprise peek. This is a very standard angle, and they're ready to do that, and I don't want to let them do that. You could make that argument, but generally the stronger use of infocytes is going to be sort of right before they're ready to take the team fight, right as they're, rotating into the final bit of staging. Because when you stage, you tend to take positions that you can't hold permanently. You know what I'm saying? Like, your Roadhog right now is sort of staging where, like, this is a little aggressive compared to the rest of his team. This is a place where he'll be forced out, whereas back here, you guys are never really going to be forced out from back here, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you want to generally pop sites when you or your opponents are staging, and yeah, your Roadhog is sort of staging, but you'd want to delay this until closer to when the real fight is going to start most of the time. But okay.
Yeah.
Sniper.
I don't know if I can see her from here or no, but
You can see
yeah.
the Widow from here. Oh, you mean, got it.
No, no,
Yeah, I mean,
no.
you had
If
info
I can,
sights. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah. Can I land a shot or not? Shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Diva. I mean, even a shot on her wasn't going to get rid of her.
Yeah. Then I tried to take like since the diva is on the right, so I
Right?
went this place.
Right, but now your infocytes are unfortunately over, and like
Yeah.
again, you had a chance to get a value, so a little bit of value off of infocytes here, but the rest of your team really didn't, other than Hog, and you only had like one chance to get value out of
Yeah.
infocytes here. So you can see it was kind of early.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
I can live with this. Don't get me wrong. I can live with this, but I'm actually like, yes, your McCree's already here, so I probably don't want to go here. I'm probably more interested in, oh look, we found ourselves a Brig. Oh look, we found ourselves an Anna. Like they're not going to necessarily expect you to be peeking this sight line. You have a pack that you can grapple back to. This is really more interesting to me than stacking with my Cree. No,
Because there was a widow there. That's just my.
up top.
I have yeah,
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a shield. There's a
Oh, you want to
widow.
challenge her while you have the shield? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe then.
Okay. So
Okay.
good on him.
Yeah, everywhere I go, I find someone in my face. Like it's,
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
The widow's kiss.
You can still
so now
angle out.
Mhm.
Okay. So he's not going to do that. Not a big deal. You have to decide where you're going to go. And you have to decide, is your team aggressing enough right now that eyeballs are focused on somewhere else? Like if you go up on top of Siege Tank, because left you're probably not willing to go. You just found a hog there. He probably retreated, but it was probably a partial retreat. You could go right, but right isn't much different than main because this is main and this is right now. So your last option is to go up. Going up definitely
Yeah.
puts you in the opponent's sight line. So your question becomes, now we're into timing. Are the opponents adequately distracted right now? Is there something in their
No.
back line? Okay, they're not.
Nothing. They're
Cool.
doing nothing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're probably better off spending this time rotating as opposed to, opening a dangerous sight line. But that's okay. Okay, we're gonna sort of open a dangerous sight line regardless. Okay.
No, no one will kill me with that grapple. But
Okay.
the wood, no, the widow will kill me. But...
Sure. Mhm.
Yeah, random, random stuff.
Sure.
Heal me.
And now you're just gonna take the shot at the hog. Nope. You're gonna decide not enough health to play with. Okay. Not a big deal.
So what was the play? What was the play?
Sure.
So first I try to go right, diva on my face. I go left, I go middle. My team already taken this place,
Mhm.
and I go left. There is a roadhog. Then I go main again, and there is diva bomb and 2 dead. So
Sure.
what was the play? So you said that I can keep go from the start, but
Yeah, I'm going back to the start to sort of
my
walk
my,
through this in
my,
more detail. So I
my
wanted
main.
the
Yeah.
later infosite here. Like again, I wanted to, basically you'd be looking at this, and this is more when you'd be popping infosite, to be perfectly honest. But that's, and we're halfway through our infosite now. Then we look at this. There's a diva in our face. That's annoying. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we'd like to hit that shot and actually do,
Yeah.
300 damage to her and put her in a situation where, she can chase you, but she's gonna lose her mech. You can potentially play around the mega, not a big deal. We're going to grapple ourselves out, and now we're in a situation where, hey, we can surrender this if we want. I'm actually not convinced that I don't turn and take a quick look to see if she followed, to see if there's another shot to be had here. You should have gone bottom left here in the first place. Again, you see the Widow up here and you choose to challenge. I understand what you're going for. That's fine. You want her removed. Fine, we get some value. Not a big deal. I would have actually been good with that right now because this team was, fighting. They're actively fighting over here. There's enough going on, but you missed the grapple. But if you take this right now, that's going to work reasonably well. It's possible that McCree's instantly going to start taking shots at you. It's possible Anna's going to instantly start taking shots at you. But the team is credibly distracted here. Looks like it would have been perhaps not ultimately the best, but conceptually there's a credible distraction going on. We hear this, we should back out faster because we hear this before we see it. That's good.
The widow's kiss.
Not a big deal, other than we'd start to take this time to rotate. Cool. And then this is okay. I actually do still think that this may be your better shot here because, hey, you can do this. You can take your shot. If there's no shot to be had, you drop whatever. And it's really not any, like, This isn't really much lower risk. It's a little bit lower risk because it's a less likely widow spot than this is, but you can maintain this. You can not immediately take your shot. There's more you can do with this in terms of your options than you can with this. This is okay. You've put grapple on cooldown for your one shot attempt here, and it wasn't here, and now you don't have grapple. Whereas if you go up here, yes, you've still got to worry about it. Yes, you've still got your grapples on cooldown. But if no one's looking at you, you have the option to keep this. If they are looking at you, well, okay, you're going to take your shot and leave type thing. So I would have preferred that you go this route. That said, it's not a big deal. This fight is just over before we're able to find a contribution. And sometimes that's going to happen. Like, don't get me wrong, we could have done more damage over here. We could have opened up over here earlier, like we said, and gotten a Brig or a Ana pick. Like, there were things that we could have done in this fight, certainly. We had the window to go do that. And then, we could have used this a little bit better to try to find a shot as well. But that's okay. Like, this is the sort of situation where it happens. Our team is at this point lost too many people, though. And you just need to grapple out. Yep. And obviously, we could use a little more precision with our grapple handling. Not a big deal. That would have been a very short grapple. We would have wanted to reach further left on this thing to try to slingshot ourselves past a little bit. But not a big deal.
Yeah, group up. I was spamming.
No
group
one
up,
can
group up,
hide
group up.
Sure.
from my sight.
I just.
Sure.
I should stay behind. I saved the McCree with the infra side, but I don't know. I should have better escape.
Yeah. I mean, after you check out
I
this.
didn't have grapple.
Yeah, I know you don't have grapple. After this, though, you're in a situation where are you going to back out or are you going to go for more? And you chose, well, you didn't even have time to choose. Diva decided to do this for you. And this isn't even a big deal. Like, it's a shame that we now won't have Infocyte for this anymore, but we should have effectively broken the spawn camp with that one elimination, so we did what had to be done.
Group up here.
Yeah, we won the fight based on that.
Yep.
Because they fed the bot down.
Let's try
Yep.
that again.
You got it.
Walk it off.
Sure.
I think I wasted my grapple on this one.
Okay.
I could have walked and I didn't know that she will have infra side.
I don't have much
Yeah.
interest in you going this way. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm not sure what's going on. This would be the high ground, of course, which would be the option. That would be the standard strong option. This would be down here the more surprising option, right? So, like, both of these are better than going this way, because this way is the same direction as our team, and this way is still the same direction as our team. So I'm a little disappointed to see you going this way, but that's okay.
They have infra side.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
So should I supposed to go here or still go the other side?
No. You can go here, but the reality is you're going to transition. So you're going to go here. I'm not even convinced we take this fight, to be honest, right now, but we go here, and then we're ready to transition. So what we're going to do is we're here, and once Infocite is over, we're going to grapple ourselves up over here where we're more relevant, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Team is fighting through Infocite. It's painful.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we'd look to transition, and we'd look to do it very quickly because our team has already lost someone. If we're going to get back into this fight, again, we should. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The team shouldn't have taken the fight like they did with Infocite, but you'll notice that they made that awkward. Like if we look at when they Infocited here. See how they've Infocited when your team is already sort of almost rotated into the fight. They're already in the cart. They're already in a place where it's sort of awkward. They waste a lot of time. Like they didn't Infocite when your team was back here. They Infocited when your team was to the cart starting to push up. And now your team has to decide, are we going to leave and just wait this out and not get progress in this time? Or are we going to fight in the Infocite? She sort of gave them a devil's decision. But that's okay.
Bonjour.
I told to tell you.
Yeah, I thought the McCree killed our McCree at the Mega. I thought
Okay.
he dropped and just flashed because I heard the flash and right click.
Yep. So
I
yeah,
went there.
you made a decision that you wanted to take this lane because you thought there was a McCree there for you to get an elimination on. I understand it. Unfortunately, it's a wrong decision here because that's not in fact the lane that he's in. He's effectively put himself back in middle lane, and you don't really want to operate from this lane. It's not amazing. Like, sure, you could go through here. That could be relevant. You could go here and clear someone on high ground. That would be relevant. But it, wasn't the most amazing for you. Left was a little bit better for you for most of this. But that's okay.
Yeah, there was high noon.
I think it's
Yep.
time for us to see other people.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, the aim is not there this game.
Yeah, so I can live with what you do here.
I think it's time
Yeah,
for
no,
us
I
to
mean,
see other
we missed the shots, whatever. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
mechanics. You can
Thank
go
you.
up here, and that's fine. But again, where's your team? I see your team stepped left for a moment, but primarily your team is threatening mid/right here, correct?
Okay, yeah. So I should go to the left. Yeah.
Exactly. If we pop ourselves
I-
up over here, you're going to get a little more value.
Is the blue pipe on the left is a spot?
Yeah, that's absolutely a spot. You can stand on this.
The blue pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can still. Okay. Because before I sent to you, I just have a.
Oh yeah, no, I
check.
send
But-
Baptistes up here all the time
yeah.
when we're fighting over this spot, for example.
Okay. I know there's a roadhog here, but
Yep. You're looking for this.
I was
this one.
expecting I was expecting a widow.
Yep.
I was expecting a.
That's okay. We'll take other things
Yeah.
that aren't Widow.
Okay.
They're just more vulnerable
Okay.
to us.
So there is a.
Let's keep this
This is
going.
gonna get a little bit harder. It's still doable.
Buckle up. You seem familiar. Ain't I killed you before?
So yeah, he was a Doomfist. Here.
Yep. So you're looking for this. I mean, we could talk about why's your crosshair here in the first place. That makes sense. That's at the appropriate height. That's a wall. That's fine. But, can someone show up right here? Because this is effectively where you're holding your crosshair. Like, if I sort of put this in... I can't even do it properly, but you see where your crosshair, that's not where someone shows up. Widow's a little higher than you might have held your crosshair. You might have been holding your crosshair at the height where the McCree's head would show up if you walk through, which would be at more like the level of the Widow's hips. But, you see how your crosshair is all the way down here and no one can show up there?
Yeah, I have no idea what the elevation in every map. So.
Okay. That's something that you start learning because obviously if you can
Yeah.
hit very short flicks, that increases your odds of winning some of these, first shot battles here.
Yes.
Not just on Widow, but on McCree, Hanzo, Ash, Soldier, Tracer, Reaper, Roadhog, everyone.
Silly.
Okay. Cool. Driving them back, we'll take it.
No one can hide from my sight.
Again, I think this team is already surrendering space.
No one can
And I don't
hide
really
from
feel the
my
need to
sight.
infosight yet because my Reinhardt is eliminated and we're not ready to take space against this team, right?
I want to go to the right, and I don't know if I will get hooked or.
You're definitely
Oh,
not going to get
no.
hooked until you're thinking about passing this part though, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's going to take you 3-4 seconds to walk across, and 3-4 seconds from now, well, now your Reinhardt's alive. It's still not optimal timing because our Reinhardt's definitely not ready to push yet, but this would have been a better time to hit Infosight right here, and you would have, another quarter of your Infosight left. That said, you can go for this. It's a surprise angle. I don't have an issue with it. Close the angle. You missed. That happens.
I had 3 chances.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
Okay, what angle I should be? I don't think this is my best angle.
The
So
problem is you don't really feel much more comfortable. There's only really two ways in here, right? You're going to go through here, or you're going to work your way in and go for something like this, and you might find cute shots here. Sometimes you will. That's not the end of the world. It takes you sort of a while to rotate to get here, but you can get cute shots, and they can't really pressure you. Like if a diva, roadhog, whatever comes chasing you, like, okay, I'm back at my spawn. Like, are you sure you want to do this, buddy? So, like, you can definitely threaten through here. This is, extremely high risk in terms of if you go all the way back here. Now, you should be able to get an elimination or two basically every time, but they're going to start to cut you off on your way out here. So that becomes this is your other option, and your team has mostly gone this way, so I'd strongly consider this. This is the longer sight line, which certainly has some attraction to you, but this is, especially against a team that's not running themselves a Tracer or Sombra or anything that's living in here, this is perfectly valid to threaten them down, right?
what about the roadhogs that pop in my face every time I try to a new angle?
Sure, sure. Well, Roadhog's going to do that because that's his job, but hopefully he's popping into your face over here. From here where you're able to instantly close the angle and not get hooked, as opposed to him waiting right here. You're right. If he's waiting right here, he's sometimes gonna get you, and that's just life. But we can be thinking about hey, if we are pulling him over here if we're making a somewhat not consistent, but we're somewhat making an effort over here, that's going to make Roadhog pay more attention to angles like that, like this. And if we then leave, let's think about it like this. If their Roadhog is paying a bunch of attention over here and we leave and rejoin our team, or even if we just neither of us get value over here, that makes it a fair amount easier for our team to push. Like, yes, it's helpful if you get picks. That makes it very easy for your team to push. But them taking a Roadhog out of their front line to be guarding this flank and sort of staying here to guard this flank, or coming up, guarding this flank, leaving, coming up, guarding this flank, leaving, because you challenged it a few times, that's going to weaken their front line quite a lot for your team to push, right?
Okay, but I don't know if I should say that or not, but
Go ahead.
you have seen my Reinhardt the whole game. He
Sure.
doesn't exist. He doesn't look at
Sure.
the kill feed. I don't know how he dropped. I don't know how. He
Okay.
doesn't exist.
Okay.
He's just so should I like surrender just and I wait my this Reinhardt to just do something? And if he didn't, what's
Sure.
what's the play?
So let's go with
Yeah,
reality here. I totally get it, but let's
yeah,
go with reality.
yeah.
So this is when you're starting to go up to do these things. Oh, look, there's a Roadhog here. That's annoying. He's made this a challenge. He's backed off. He's gone and joined main. And now you've made an opportunity for your Kree to do something. You're baiting attention main, and your Kree is going to try to do something. And this is about right. And this Roadhog is paying a bunch of attention over here. And sometimes this just sucks. Because you know what? Sometimes they have their Roadhog, and their Roadhog is playing it correctly. And your Moira is feeding. There's really not much other way to put what is going on here. Go ahead.
I had an amazing time just looking at the Moira, this tornado guy, the whole game. It's just
Yeah, your Moira's feeding.
He's a different level, and he was toxic if I remember correctly. He was toxic at the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not a big deal, but this is one of these situations where if you were going to win this one, if you were going to win this team fight, it was going to be down this lane, and it was going to be finding a shot, on their Ana here, finding a shot on their Widow here, finding a shot on their Zen here, if you were going to win this. And ultimately, we didn't hit these shots. It's correct to be challenging this lane because you already have enough people challenging this lane. So this is correct. We just didn't make the opportunity count. And is our team feeding? Yes, but our team feeding, we do have opportunities with our team feeding here, with our infocytes up, to get eliminations. And we don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. I don't think there's anything to reinforce properly over here. Yeah, oh, you're just mining it. Fine. I don't know that it's been grappled to mine it, but okay.
Yeah, I was looking there, then I heard the Roadhog.
Got it.
Mine and go away.
Grid, and then your team's pushing left, so you're going to readjust main. I like it. Good. Keep it closed, okay.
Yeah, I was trying to take that place.
Yep.
Yeah, then...
This is good.
Then I had a surprise.
This is
then
good.
I had a surprise.
And you were right to close this angle after you eliminated the Ana as you rotated forward because you want your team to bait some attention back to them. We like that.
and I found McCree. I don't know
You
what
can
he's doing.
you can beat him. I believe.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Then I hear the grapple from
Yep.
Widow. So I just dodge him.
Okay.
Don't know how he didn't die. Then
Okay. Not a big deal. We took a little, we took a little too long to fight this McCree here. I get it. You're worried about dodging. I understand what's happening. You go here. We obviously don't hit that shot. Not a big deal. Don't hit that shot. Not a big deal. And then you hear the grapple, and that's, fine. Yeah, I'll deal. Yeah, I'll deal. I mean, it was a fair amount of...
I didn't expect him. I was just looking.
This right here, and I get it. You're doing it because of the grapple. Okay, you get the timing right on how long you're dodging. Fine. He's in a bad spot. And then you just don't quite have the angle to his head there. Yep.
I hit him, but I don't know what happened.
Yep. So, in theory, while we were dodging this guy, we'd have thought about, sending a mine over this way. Was it actually going to save us? No, but that's fine. You thought you hit him, and then it takes too long there. Oh well.
The Moira got it. The Moira got it.
The Moira's got it under control. Exactly.
It's just a funny game. Okay, he's
Sure.
my yeah, he's my McCree, and then I was, why there is Roadhog? Is the Roadhog job is just to screw me the game, or and
Sort
never
of.
win, just make my life hard?
Sort of. It's not specifically that he's interested in making your life difficult. It's that Roadhog is going to think of his job is to control a secondary lane, and if he controls the secondary lane and he wins it hard, it's going to be very easy for him to go into your backline and pluck someone out of it with his hook and eliminate them and help win his team fights. It's also, with him controlling a secondary lane, going to be very difficult for someone like you to force their way through that lane and pluck people out of his backline, right? And he's one of the better heroes for, it's hard to remove him. It's hard to, you can make him leave with breather, things like that. But it's hard for him to get caught and, travel to spawn when he's controlling a secondary lane even alone. So that's just sort of what he does. It's not that he's specifically interested in blocking you. And on longer sightlines, he won't be blocking you. But yes, if you go for some of these shorter sightline off angles, which at some portions of the map are appropriate, like this or like this, he's sometimes going to be blocking you. He's less likely to be blocking you if you're on something like this or if you're on something like this. These aren't as good ones at this point of the map, but that's just, how the map is designed type thing. So he's not going to be it's not like, Roadhog, the great Widow counter, but yes, you are going to have situations where he's doing his
he's
job.
my main counter.
Well,
He's my main counter on all heroes. On all heroes I play, he's my main counter. It's
Okay.
just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Really, I hate playing McCree because of Roadhogs.
Sure.
Because otherwise I will stay behind Reinhardt. I go another way, and I get hooked. Just
yeah, but you can start putting a mental flag in where he is and start paying attention to when he's missing, right? You can play with the team during the poke phase, and then as the poke phase starts to evolve into a brawl phase, you can leave, rotate around on a flank, and then do the stuff. And you're going to be missing for part of the fight, but you're going to show up and make up that value. But you doing that would be, based on, hey, is the Roadhog there type thing? Is the Roadhog in the main fight? But that's okay.
Work to be done.
I was waiting for him to shield so that I can
Sure.
playing against a Widow. I was expecting a Widow, so
Yeah, we should
playing
probably
behind the shield.
we should probably have a pre-Venom mine out, even a Venom mine up
Yeah,
here or something to make that difficult, but that's okay.
Attackers incoming.
My ultimate is
I
charged.
was thinking if should I grapple up, said no, I would use
Yep.
Let's get to work.
then.
I'm overloading. Is that all? You're making a kick.
Okay. And we are going to start thinking about off-angling now. Like, this happened, this got
Yeah.
some value. We were looking for, is there a Widow that we need to challenge with the shield? But there wasn't, and now we can go, oh, well, my Torb has this other off-angle. And because your Torb has the off-angle, this is potentially okay. If he wasn't over here, if you didn't have Moira holding down the off-angle for you, I'm kidding, obviously, you'd think about rotating over here. He's got it, so you can deal with it. Most of the times, I wouldn't necessarily expect your team to have it, and I'd really strongly consider, hey, I want to be able to shoot these guys from the side as my core, my Roadhog, my Torb turret, my Reinhardt are threatening from here. But that's okay. Your team's already doing it. Okay. Gonna send that mine out? No. Gonna send the mine out over here, maybe? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember. I don't remember at this point. At this point, I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's probably further than I'd go to set up the mine. Like, that's a lot of rotating time, right? You could have just set the mine up right here, and it might get destroyed, it might get walked by, it might get missed, but like the amount of time that you had to invest, that you've invested to go, hey, I'm gonna grapple up here, I'm gonna walk over here, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna set this mine down, and now I'm gonna have to walk back and maybe threaten from here, maybe walk back my way up here, maybe spend another grapple. Like, that's a big time investment to get that mine out. Okay. Sure.
Okay, it was destroyed.
Why are we walking at this?
Because there's a roadhog behind me.
I mean, sure. Okay.
Yeah,
I hear it. Yeah.
I was going for the slap
Yep.
slap doom, but I just
So,
yeah.
no, the
I
Roadhog's
died.
there.
I died this way so many times. This
Yeah.
same flank, same heroes, same many times. I just
Okay.
yeah.
So,
I
let's
should grab.
go back to this, because what's happening is you're being out off-angle, right? You're looking to take an off-angle here. We're losing the battle on the off-angle, which, you know, is going to happen. Tornado's having some fun over there. And we look at this, and I actually look at this, and he just spent hook, and we just heard he just spent hook, and if we're worried about a Roadhog coming this way, you know, we do have the possibility to go, hey, let me send a shot at him here, and if we do 300 damage to him, yeah, he's going to get the Mega, but, like, it's much harder. Like, the reason that they're able to win this battle, yes, I know, he already got someone that's annoying, but, like, if you surrender and play in here, if you're losing the fight, you're going to have to. If he's close enough that he can hook you, you're potentially going to have to. You know, like, you can't fight him like this. You definitely can't do that. But you can put a charged up shot into him right here, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to either make him pop breather, make him get the Mega that's not there. Like, that's the sort of thing that delays him pushing in and makes him think about going, okay, fine, I'll pop breather, walk back here, and then go fight like this. And if he does that, your team is in much better shape because you guys don't have a Roadhog threatening you from the outside. And the reason that you want to take off angles is so that you can go, hey, I have angles on this opposing team. I can shoot them from here. My team can shoot them from here. We're happy. They can't really defend themselves adequately. Well, he's trying to play the same game, and what can happen is you can, on longer sight lines like this, so you couldn't really have done this on, we'll just go here, on this one because the sight line's too short, but on longer sight lines like this, you can go, no, I'm not going to let you walk in, or I'm going to put a little bit of pressure. I would rather surrender the angle than get eliminated to you, but ultimately, if I surrender this angle, that's an incremental advantage to him because later it's going to mean he gets to threaten here while his team is threatening here. So I am losing if I surrender this to him. It's better to lose than to actually get eliminated, you know, fighting him here, getting hooked, whatever. But we want to put the pressure. We want to battle for this when it makes sense. You with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. Because here you are, and if you get a pick, that's great. And this is happening, whatever, we don't like this. But now we're in a situation where we're stuck, the opponents have multiple angles on us. So, oh well.
No, how did I die that fast? I thought I had full health.
I mean, full health is only 175, and they had two angles on you, right? They had a Roadhog to your side and a McCree in front of you. Like, it's not fun. Okay. Okay. Probably not. You can do this. You can look for this opening angle.
I have grapple. Why not? I have grapple.
Yeah, no, it's not that you can't re-challenge, it's that this isn't how I'm going to re-challenge. So here's how I want to put this. You go in here. You are no longer going to get an elimination from this angle. Like, you might brute force it, it's possible, but I don't expect you to be successful anymore. And if we retake this point, it's not just going to be you that does it, right?
Okay, yeah. It's not
So,
me. I need some help, so I should take another angle. Actually,
right,
from the left.
exactly. You invest this time, even if you invest grapple, you've got a surprise chance to get them again here. You missed your first 2 shots here. It's not happening any longer. Anything they give you is going to be defense matrix, tanks, things like that. So now you pretend to leave, whatever. You actually grapple yourself over here, and you're vulnerable. If they turn and see you, if you don't get an elimination within your first 2 shots, they're going to eliminate you. But by the time you get here, you're more likely to have people pushing, that sort of thing. You're likely to encourage people to push if you get an elimination or 2. Like, if you actually want to fight your way back into this, an all-in gamble here doesn't actually cost you that much, right? Like, yeah, you might get eliminated and get spawned again, and that sucks a little bit, but, like, here, this is the sort of place that you could surprise them and go 2 for 1, 3 for 1, right?
Yeah, and the timing was very early.
Yep.
That was very early.
And I didn't actually mind that if you're then going to transition angles. I don't mind taking your attempt from here because it was early, but you had a chance of getting an elimination or 2 from here.
It's just a no.
Okay, and now we're just backing up.
I wanted to take a shot and fight.
Yep.
Objective lost.
I don't know.
The payload.
Yeah, I want to check the.
Did that sting?
I'm under attack.
No one can hide from
Okay,
my sight.
so I want to see why you ended up here again. You went over here.
I wanted to look inside the room, but then the venom line triggered.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to back off this far because this kind of... Sorry, what pulled you over here?
I didn't want to stay there because otherwise I will get hooked or something or die or something. So I just went the other way.
Okay,
And,
I sort
yeah,
of get that.
yeah.
I do get that, but your team is right here, right?
Yeah, but they will go high ground for free 100 times.
Okay,
just-
they should.
they
I
will
agree.
take-
They should, sure.
And McCree did it.
Okay,
Actually, McCree did it. Although we have Anna, we have
sure.
Reinhardt, we have Roadhog.
Sure.
And McCree managed to pass.
So you're trying to
Without a shield.
control this lane. I got it. You're trying to
Yes.
control this lane here. My problem is defensively, it's very hard. Like, you stop them from taking this lane, and that helps. Like, you're protecting this lane that I'm looking down now. You're also helping on this lane, but this doesn't really help because your team is too far forward for it to help. But you can't threaten the opposing team. You're only protecting your team from being threatened. And I totally get why. If you're up here, it's dangerous. We don't like that. So you have a decision to make. You have a decision to make of, okay, they pushed up here. I don't like that. Whatever. That's a problem. So you can either go, hey, I'm going to back up, which is what you did. And, you know, that's fine. It just becomes, your contribution becomes, we'll say 75%. You're protecting your team from getting flanked on a powerful lane. You're sort of backing up a lane here. You can't threaten the opposing team. You could potentially go, hey, I'm going to back up. Now I think it's relatively safe because I can see now the timing is my team is pushing back in, and I'm going to take a risk and grapple in and try to go for eliminations. But this timing might be wrong because you know what? This cart is still in here. This garage is still opening, and you have an idea of where the objective is. Maybe it makes sense to go, I'm not going to go in yet. This is too early. You also have the option of going, again, I'm going to take a risk. Because, you know, I trust my aim, I believe in myself here, and I'm going to go, yes, I'm pretending to run. I'm actually just going to drop back here, and I'm going to pop this lane open, and I'm going to, you know, as the cart comes a little further, I'm going to open this, and I'm going to go for this here, and I'll have grapple to pull myself out. Is it totally safe? Absolutely not. What you're doing here is the safer play. But it's not necessarily the biggest difference-making play in terms of, hey, if you're worried about your team is just going to lose everything, your team is just going to throw if the fight goes long, this is a very defensive position. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's sort of up to your team whether this fight goes well or not. Like the opponents might walk into something and you'll be able to snipe them over here, but you're putting a lot on is my team going to be bots or not? And based on how you feel about your Reinhardt and your Moira right now, not on Moira anymore. I'm not sure I want to do that. I probably want to take more of these fights into my own hands and be like, okay, I am going to do a little bit more of the fake back, pop up here, about 2 seconds from now, or fake back, drop down here, and then wait, open the angle, fish for an elimination or two, grapple out type thing. But that's okay.
Nerf this. Take cover.
Okay. And I'd say I like this even worse, to be perfectly honest. Like, what you've done now is you've said, I'm taking basically exactly my team's angle, and that's just kind of garbage. Up here, at least you are protecting this. Now, you're still going to do what you can to protect this, but your angle is worse than it was up here for protecting this, right?
I was looking for the room. For the left room.
You were looking for what?
I was looking to just look at the left room with the mega.
Okay. Because you thought
But,
someone was, like, in this room over here?
No, not
Oh,
this.
in
not
this room.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So, but the mine triggered.
Okay. Again, I mean, I feel like we could threaten this room already from here, and we were pretty okay, and we're at a pretty good range to challenge things like roadhogs, for example, from here. But okay.
You're right.
I'm under attack.
No one can hide
Yep.
from my sight.
Reasonable infocyte. I'd say that's better than your previous infocytes. And you've got no shots to take, and it feels bad.
Yeah,
So, like, the
nothing,
timing
nothing.
of your infocyte is better, but the thing that's worse about this infocyte isn't really the infocyte itself, it's your positioning, because your angle is completely the same angle as your team, right?
Yeah.
So the cover that's working against your team is working against you. Whereas, again, if you're... Okay, this is wrong, but if you're here, well, the cover's not going to work. Now, they might force the fight with the Roadhog and the McCree, but the cover that works against your team won't work against you. That works against you won't work against your team. If you're up here, same thing. Like, okay, you guys can hide behind the cart from my team, but that doesn't work against me type thing. So, like, again, the timing of your infocyte is better in the sense of the fight progress, but your positioning becomes a problem here.
Yeah, because once I try to open anything, I feel like I will get a surprise. I will get.
Yep.
Yeah. I will get like flash. I will get hook. I will get sleep. I will get sleep is, but yeah, I will get hook flash.
Yep. So if you feel like anytime you're opening the angle, you're walking into a problem, usually that means you want to peek a little bit later. Because the more that a fight happens, the more people get baited into wanting to go join and contribute to that main fight that's happening. So, like, if you're in a situation where, I don't know, your Reinhardt is swinging into their Roadhog, your Reinhardt is swinging into their Diva, whatever, the opponent, if there was a McCree that was trying to hold this angle, he's likely to either open this angle or he's going to go, oh, I want to get into the fight. I'm going to rush it. Let me go start fighting the fight that's happening. Like, once the tank lines meet, that's when it becomes safest to open dangerous off angles. So, like, you're sort of looking for, okay, when does the fight sort of start? And I'd like to peek just after that if I'm worried about constantly running into Roadhogs or McCrees or whatever holding these flank routes that I'd like to take. Does that mean that you'll absolutely never get caught on a flank route? Of course not. But you can also win on those flank routes.
Nanoboost is ready. Get in there, and I'll hit you.
I don't know why I'm afraid right now after I just killed.
What's that?
Yeah, I should be pushing the. I went behind. I should be pushing forward.
Okay.
But
Yep.
I just got that.
You got it. Exactly.
I know what I'm holding here.
Sure. Okay. Unfortunate. Now he's going to have the advantage of that. Challenge again. Harmony Orb OP. But do you actually see how this helped? Like, this Genji and this McCree haven't really been able to... Did they just... Excuse me, it's your Genji now. This McCree hasn't really been able to come through here, and this McCree, if you hadn't challenged this, would have probably just destroyed your team, right? Like, if we re-look at this from his perspective from earlier, this might feel bad, but if he'd walked out right here and you hadn't been trying to challenge this lane, he's probably just going to be like, let me eliminate the Genji, let me eliminate the Ana type thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're contributing, like this is getting something done.
I need healing.
Okay.
That's happened. Judge.
Yep.
I can see it.
Healing enhanced.
You can't see. Sorry, because you. Do you mean you can't see my screen right now, or do you mean you
No,
can't
no,
see?
no, no,
Okay,
no, no,
got it.
no, no.
Just making sure. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't really know that I'd have gone for this grapple right now. I suppose it's fine. Like, you're sort of in a situation of you kind of, I mean, you're sort of all inning with this grapple because either you're going to get value out of this grapple and get eliminations, or you're going to be stuck, right? Because now you don't have the ability to. Oh, come on, thing. There we go. You don't really have the ability to get out here, to reposition, to go peek up here. Like, you're kind of all inning with a grapple with one shot attempt on this grapple. And it's really mostly down the same angle as your team. I don't love it. I'd prefer to be able to back out up here, to be able to think about challenging up over here, that sort of thing. But okay. Yeah.
I grapple shot to kill the widow.
Yep.
Couldn't find her, and yeah.
Zen siege tank. Okay.
Sorry? Yeah, she was there, and I don't know the Zenyatas. It's just, yeah, there are moments you didn't notice. It was like
Yeah, that's
he was trying to spawn camp a Hanzo, and he couldn't. Then he got hooked and killed and died.
Okay.
It's just,
Here I am.
what are you doing?
I mean, you cleared the Widow off siege tank.
Healing enhanced.
Did that
Okay.
hurt? I need healing.
I was not sure if I can go there.
You can.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, so.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about this. You're doing this. You see the McCree there. And I'm not
I
sure
see
I
him.
actually take this yet. Like, I don't mind this
Yeah.
positioning, but you've put yourself pretty close to a McCree. And it's like, why do we want to potentially play in flash range? You're not quite in it, but you're close. You know, make his fall off, no question that you're within it. Like, probably didn't actually need to take this yet, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I need healing. Personne n'échappe à mon regard. I'm under attack.
Walk it off.
C'est la
Sniper.
vie.
Be ready.
Give me just 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay.
That's fine.
My ultimate is ready. Get in there and I will ultimate you.
Almost ready.
Healing enhanced.
Okay. So we're here, we're choosing to walk this up. We hear the Roadhog. So we have the decision of if we're confident we know where he is, we can hold our sight line and take a shot as soon as he opens it. If we're sort of think he's there, but we're not sure, we could Widow mine up and grapple away. So which is it going to be? Okay, we're going to go like this. Okay. That's not really the combination. So like here, if we Widow mined here, we could potentially do that and then go further away. I don't want to Widow mine now because now I've given away that we're here and I'm not really leaving. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wanted to just take my opening shot if I was going to challenge him. And I probably didn't want to take my opening shot here. I probably wanted to take it here because this is more of a surprise angle on him, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I don't mind fighting him though. I mean, you've got your Genji with you. Okay.
Attention où tu mets les pieds.
Okay.
No one can hide
Sure.
from my sight. Heal me.
Okay. She's staring at you too hard. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunate, not a big deal. I look at this and I probably go, hey, she's in a situation where she's a lot more worried about you than you have to be about her right now. Like, is she going to go take wild peeks on your team while you have Infosights up?
No.
So, if you just go, meh, let me drop down here and eliminate your Anna, for example, or look for your Zen, or that sort of thing. Like, she doesn't know where you are. She knows where you were. She knew that you were fighting her. But any angle repositioning that you do, like, throws her off, and she can't really go looking that hard for your team. She has to continue to basically stare at where you were, right?
Yeah.
So you really want to think about, hey, in this situation, there's an information disparity. I want to take advantage of that information disparity to change where I am, because you have a little bit of an advantage in this fight in that you were able to pre-line up your shot a little bit better than she was, but not much of one, because she knows where you are right now. She saw you. You really haven't moved very much. So yeah, she had to move her crosshair a little bit to adjust to you, more than you had to adjust to her. She tried to change that with a jump, but like you really didn't take much advantage of you having Infosight here. Like, it's still an advantage, but you didn't really get much benefit out of it. You could have gone just wild, eliminating the rest of her team, and she would have then, from bullet trails, figured out where you were. But you also could have just been like, hey, I'm down here, and then when she hops out like, aha, I'm up there, she's going to have a much bigger crosshair movement. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I didn't expect that jump to be. It
Yep.
was.
That's something. Usually they won't, because
I think
they don't have.
I think it's bigger than normal. I think it's longer than normal. I don't know. It
Okay.
is, like,
Okay.
bigger than.
I mean, we can look
I
at
don't
it
know.
again.
I don't know. Is that normal jump? Or it's just cancelled? I don't know. There's a tick. I don't know. Is that normal jump?
It's a normal jump. There's no grapple or
Normal. I
anything in
don't know.
that. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It looked like
It
what?
did seem weird. I agree. But
Yeah.
there was no grapple or anything. There was no movement tech where she like surfed a boob or anything there.
Yeah. I don't know. It was.
No.
Because I remember I saw on Reddit like something like you can cancel the grapple. I don't know. And you still have the cooldown. There was a tech. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Long time ago. So I don't know.
Okay.
Because I can't show. I can't aim.
Yeah, no. This hasn't been your cleanest aiming round. I've seen obviously two of your other games, and this hasn't been your cleanest, but that's not a big deal. There's still stuff we can get out of it that isn't aim.
Yeah, because I can't go anywhere. Wherever I go, I find McCree or Roadhog, and there's a Widow challenging me, and my Reinhardt is just existing. He do nothing.
Right.
He's doing nothing. I'm just typing to him. Please, just push. Take. Just W.
Right. So
what will kill you? Nothing.
But
They are everywhere.
remember,
They are everywhere. Just
but remember,
push W.
we do have a greater ability than we're currently taking advantage of. By challenging some of these lanes, we can stop other people from coming in, but also we can be changing lanes more frequently than we are. Like, we get something called sort of a first peek advantage when we peek from a fresh spot, where it's like, hey, this is, or a fresh peek advantage, where it's like, this is a new spot, now this is a new spot, now this is a new spot, now this is a new spot. And our grapple has a cooldown, so we don't always get to do it. But our most powerful shot is really that first or second, the first shot, maybe the first two shots from a new location. Afterwards, they become sort of weaker. So like we can be taking a little bit more advantage of that, especially when something like Infosight is up, to be doing a little bit more here. We might feel like we're running into stuff, but not a big deal. Let's
But every time I grapple or I peek somewhere, I find someone. So the first time I found Roadhog, then I found the McCree. The third one I died to a Widow.
Sure,
It's
sure.
just it's just me against people. Yeah, okay.
Sure,
This
but you
game
can beat
I
the
didn't have
McCree
the
on some of these,
mechanics.
for example. Yeah, I mean your mechanics weren't fully
I didn't.
here, and
Yeah.
that's showing, and that's causing you to not just like beat this McCree sometimes when you're on the appropriate sight line to just beat him. But that's okay. That's okay. We can
Mhm.
still play around it.
Let's try that again.
I'm just typing.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
There is nothing to challenge you. Just W.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know the grapple spots.
okay. Yeah, that's not one of them. Okay, not a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, yeah. I don't know the grapple spots. I don't know. I need to study that, but it's a different day. We currently
Yeah,
on
we
this.
wouldn't go for that here. I mean, obviously that one's not
Yeah.
going to work. You have to go a little more on it to be able to see over there, but that's okay.
Yes.
We go like this, and then I don't particularly love this. We used our grapple to try to hit this, and then it puts us on main, and well, that's a problem. It put us on main. Again, we wanted to think
Is this
about.
main?
Well,
Is this main?
this right here. No, this isn't main. This is main, but
This
this is
main,
a
yeah.
very different. This is a very slight off angle for main. It's better than shooting down main. I agree to be shooting down here, but obviously your crossfire from here is going to be much more powerful. And unless Hog's already across, any sort of Hog or McCree walking across this, you're gonna dunk on them, right? Like you have a huge range advantage on a Cree or a Hog. A Hog, you're gonna be outside of hook range who tries to take this, right?
Yeah.
So this starts looking like, oh, it's my turn. Instead of these short little things like this, where Hog is perfectly happy to do hooks, you finally get one where, hey, Hog, Cree, this is my domain. This works for me on the off angle on the flank. And then you get to shoot from here. And, well, this Widow wants to be paying attention to your team. And if she's paying attention to you, well, she's got nothing else to shoot at. So we would have really liked to come out over here. But that's okay.
Nano boost is ready. Get
I was expecting the widow to go there. Actually.
Okay, but you know you can. I would rather fight her on that sight line than fight main here, but that's okay. You're still potentially gonna get her here, potentially. Nope.
No, I'm just tilted.
You're tilted and playing Widow down main.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
I'm tilted. Yeah, I'm tilted, and I'm just losing. I'm dying.
Yep.
There is not hitting my shot. And Genji did something. Then I will do a stupid thing right now. We will lose again.
Okay. Yeah. This is a little foolish, but quiet. Let them advance
Yeah.
more. Let them advance more.
Yeah, I was waiting for the widow now, but there is no widow.
Yeah, it needed to press tab. Unfortunate.
Yeah, he just switched even.
Yep. Okay, but this is fine. You can get two
What
quick
is
picks here.
Okay. They should stand here because I have a team, right? But they just go through.
Well, your team backed off because they lost their Zen. They are like, wait, what's going on? And they lost their Zen. So that's
Yeah,
why they're backing off. But yeah, I get it.
You can look at the Zen where he died. You can
I
look
mean,
at him.
that's fine. It doesn't really matter where the Zen died. The team's choosing
Look at
to
Look
back
what
up.
what,
I see it.
what did he do?
Yeah, that's
He was
happens.
trying to kill the Hanzo.
Okay. But regardless, that's why your team is backing up. It's unfortunate. We obviously would expect that we'd be able to get an Anna elimination here. Your mechanics have let you down a little bit today, like Anna, who's going to go ahead and do this. She's even scoped. She slowed herself down. It happens sometimes. Not a big deal. But usually you'd get that elimination, and then it would be a case of can you immediately transition to Soldier. Soldier is very fast on the uptake for turning around to pay attention. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Body clicker.
Yeah.
Nerf this.
With every death,
Okay, and we're gonna go for some Hanzo here.
with honor, redemption.
Yeah, I just wanted to stand with Ryan.
Marked by the dragon.
Sure. I don't know that I want this quite yet. Sure, using Storm Arrow. I don't know that I totally want this fight quite yet. Like, this fight is going to be a lot more attractive to me in a good 2 to 3 seconds when I'm going to have quite a significant respawn lead on them. Right now, I'm sort of like 2v3ing them. I can deal, I suppose.
Feeding.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
2v4ing them.
Felix
But
side eye.
now we're getting back into like 5v4 territory, which is more interesting.
See through the
That's not
dragon's
really a
eyes.
useful Sonic arrow. Like, yeah. That Sonic arrow obviously wanted to be more to the left, for example, where it's actually showing you cover as opposed to just in the middle. Widow's back?
Yeah. That's 3 heroes.
Okay. You're marking a flank, even if it's a small one. Oh, I'm not lunging into this. You can't make me. Ooh. Okay, so that was very aggressive. Like, we look at this. I'm good with the Sonic arrow. Team's pushing that way.
60 seconds.
Okay, we killed the Hulk.
If your team was, like, right here pushing, you could potentially lunge into this like you did. But you're just sort of lunging into the front line when your team is, like, going to take a few seconds still, a second or two still, to get into the fight. You see what you're doing here?
You're expecting my Reinhardt will go forward?
I mean, maybe your Zarya, maybe your Zen, maybe even,
No
well,
one.
hey, your Reinhardt does, in fact, go forward.
Each
And
other, of
also, your Zarya is now here on this lane with you, too. So, like, you sort of went here early, and your Zarya's going, what are you doing, and bubbling you. But, oh well. Go for the right, go for the right. Good. Sure.
By the dragon.
Okay.
Nano boost is ready to deploy.
What I'm doing here? Yeah, I was looking
I don't
for
know
that
why your
last,
crosshair is on the ground.
tapping, tap.
Tap?
I was pressing tap.
Oh, okay, got it.
I was
Crosshairs?
looking for-
Got
Who
it.
died last, then Diva, yeah.
Okay.
like this.
I don't know that I'm willing to walk this far with my crosshair on the ground. I also probably would have waited the 2 seconds for Sonic before pushing this, because that's what you get as Hanzo. Like, wait, you have Sonic to help you clear corners. Yeah, we're still aimed low.
See through the
There's our
dragon.
Sonic.
I need healing. I need
I
street
have
shields.
Okay.
30 seconds.
Very shallow, but it's gonna work.
My ultimate is ready.
And you're gonna ult them there.
See
No?
that
Okay.
which is unseen.
I ult now? Why?
I was expecting
Wait,
you to ult just a little bit to the right of this team here, and then the concept is that your team is going to push as these guys are effectively split and the retreat is cut.
I did that 1 million times. Never my Reinhardt pushed, so I stopped doing that.
Okay.
Like I did it so many times that I just gave up.
Sure.
Yeah, because I saw, I don't know, Arge I think did it, or Samito, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's how the ult works, but okay.
Yes, but I call it out, right? I just combo, I was waiting for, I didn't die, I just waiting for the combo, I was waiting for the combo.
Sure, that's fine. You have a Zarya, you'll go for the grab dragon, I get it.
Dragon strike you.
I'm spamming it. Of course.
Can't even be mad about that one. Like, she placed it well, to be fair. Like, that is...
No, she didn't. No. Do you think that she practiced that? No, I don't think so. I'm sorry. She didn't do that.
Okay,
She didn't practice
whether or not it was luck, it placed itself in a good spot. So, like, if she practiced this, she deserved this. If she didn't, she got lucky. But that's okay.
I was just waiting for grab. I was spamming grab.
Yeah, I get it.
We won.
We did.
Did we win? I don't remember. Did we win?
Yeah, you win. There's
Okay.
not enough time in the VOD for extra rounds to happen here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So we look at this, and obviously this is frustrating, a little less frustrating on our Hanzo. Things that we can look at here, like I get it, it was totally annoying that you constantly ran into people on the flanks. I'm glad that you were checking the flanks. We definitely found a few situations where, you didn't check the flanks, or you let yourself end up on very passive angles, like you ended up here, or even worse when you ended up here a couple times. Just like, okay, this doesn't really work. You're on basically the exact same angle as your team. You at least need to be threatening here, which was a good adjustment, and you did. But like, we do not want to end up on the same angle as our team unless we were trying to challenge another angle and we sort of got forced back. It was clear we were going to lose, so we join our team, and then we're still trying to keep that angle out. We're still trying to ward it, to answer it, that sort of thing. So there's a little bit of that we want to clean up, and I do like what you're trying with the angles, even if this didn't feel good in terms of, hey, you're constantly running into other people. That's sometimes going to happen. That doesn't make what you're doing wrong. It does, however, mean that we can think a little bit harder about, hey, let's do some of these challenges. Let's do some of these challenges, especially when they're these longer sightline angles, these longer sightline flanks that are harder for other hero types to walk down, for Roadhogs, for Krees, for those whole heroes to walk down. Let's think more about making sure on those specifically that A, we stop people from walking down them, B, we get to use them like we would any off angle, but we can protect these even better. So especially think about these longer sightline ones. But other things I would get into from this VOD are, I would generally like you to delay your infocyte timing until closer to when the battle is going to start. It doesn't have to be after the battle started. Ideally, in fact, it is before the battle's really started, while you're still in the poke phase. But it should be like right as your opponents start to want to rotate, like right as they start to rotate into their staging. Do you understand what I mean by like rotation phase or staging phase?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to see more at that timing. You sort of got one at that timing, but it was when your positioning was garbage. And your others were mostly early, when you still had people in spawn, your team wasn't going to be ready to push, that sort of thing. So I actually would like you to adjust your infosite timings. That's going to be a meaningful improvement for you. But then you get into, okay, well, how do you force these angles, or what do you do when your team just, is losing, is being too passive on main? Well, even if they're being passive on main, your Reinhardt is still going to get pushed into, right? He's going to have a diva walk into him, something like that. Yes?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yep, I'm there. That was
Yeah.
me asking a question. Good, got the acknowledgement
Yeah.
there. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. They
So
were like,
that
he's
is
getting pushed by Diva.
right. So when he's getting pushed by Diva, that's when it's going to be safest to open your lane. That's when it's
Okay.
going to be safest to open your lane. So, like, I can't guarantee that there's 100% not going to be a McCree holding this if you open this lane, but if you sort of look at your team and see when your Reinhardt starts to get, booped back, or when your Reinhardt has start swinging, because you can see that through walls, you won't see the Diva through walls. But if you keep half an eye on that, or you wait, you listen to your sound cues, whatever, when he's actually being pushed, that is when your opponents are most likely to get distracted, or most likely to go, okay, this is where the fight is, I want to pay attention to it, ooh, it's shiny, let me look. And that's when you can open the angle, and they're least likely to be looking at you. They're least likely to be looking at you. So, like, that is going to be the sense of timing that is going to make it easiest, in terms of people being least likely to pre-hold these off-angle lanes that you are. Still won't be 100%, and we're still going to benefit from thinking about our longer sight lines and, like, hey, those are the ones that we most want to take when they're available. But that's going to sort of be the next piece of the puzzle to make this better when you happen to be up against a team that's doing a pretty good job on the off angles like this one was. Does that all make sense so
Yeah.
far?
Yeah. This game was very frustrating for me because they were everywhere,
Mhm.
and if they're everywhere separated, my team should have an easy time to win. Also, yeah, my aim was not helping in
Yep.
that
Not a big
that
deal. That's
situation.
gonna
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some days it'll be good, some
Uh,
days it'll be bad.
I
Yep.
sh I should have won against the McCree, and I should won the McCree shouldn't win any challenge.
Yep. You should
But
have had the
yeah,
McCree a couple times. You should have had the Iana once or
yeah,
twice. Not a big deal.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
And the Roadhog, I don't know, I don't know about the Roadhog situation.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the long side, I can win, but in the short, I just yeah,
Yeah, and if you can play it, just outside hook's range, maximum hook range, but with cover that you can, instantly break it on type thing. You don't have to 100 to 0 him, but even just putting a headshot into him is generally going to make him pop breather. And if he pops breather, he's generally not going to stay. He's generally going to leave when he pops breather. So, like, okay, cool. Now you've bought yourself more time not being threatened on that angle, even if you drop back and contribute to main, like you could have on first defense there.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's sort of how I'd think about this match. You know, we've got, hey, let's continue to think about our off angles like you are. Let's think about the long ones, especially if we feel like we're getting challenged on Widow here. Let's think about the timing of when the tank lines meet, is when you're least likely to be answered on those off angles, most likely to have the most powerful peak. And then let's delay those infosite timings to try to be during the enemy's final rotation, staging, that sort of thing. Okay?
Okay. Should I watch Overwatch League or streamers? Because they play different than my games. Overwatch League, they play different games. They play different comps. They stay in different. Everything is different. Like, how
Yeah.
can I relate?
So
How can I relate?
it
Yeah.
still is relatable, but you have to be thinking a little bit harder about what's allowing them to do what they're doing. What they're doing in Overwatch League is absolutely correct. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what they're going to run into is you have to be thinking about, well, why is what they're doing working? Like, for example, you will see, and say a player used to be famous for this. Say a player was constantly at the weirdest angles on Widowmaker.
Who's that?
Previous Owl player. He would have probably in season like
Uh,
2 been considered probably would have been considered the best Widow in
I
like
don't.
season 2. That's fine. He was
His,
the
yeah.
only good
Yeah.
player on Florida that year. Might not be fair to some of them, but Florida was a pretty terrible team that year. Um,
I don't know
that's
the
okay.
team.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So what you'd be
Yeah.
looking at is he played Widow different than basically anyone else did at the time, where he just went on crazy silly flanks and he expected to get eliminated, but he'd eliminate 2 to 3 people every time before he got eliminated, which was completely different than how everyone was playing Widowmaker. But again, what makes that work is understanding the timing, understanding how the team fight is happening, etc. So like you can do that as an example. I'm not saying do that specifically, though there's times when it makes sense. I even called out a couple. You can do these sorts of things. You can break the rules of how you're supposed to play the hero if you understand what's going on. And like, in Owl, it might look like they don't break the rules very often because things are happening in a specific way. But how do I want to put this? Um, but if you actually understand like what's causing those decisions to be made that way, you'll understand why it's not actually breaking the rules or the rules being broken in a way that makes sense, etc. So anyway, my point would be Owl is going to be better play. Yes, it assumes better teammates in some ways, and I know you absolutely hate that because you feel like you never have that, and that's fine. My one hesitation with streamers, especially Widow streamers, is they're a little bit known for going to make the flashy plays. Usually, if you get 1 to 2 opening picks, you've actually determined the fight, and Widow streamers have a habit, for example, of going, let me get 1 to 2 opening picks, and then let me pop infosites to try to get another 2 or 3 picks because I want to put together a flashy play, a nice clip, that sort of thing. And that's
Yes.
actually not really helpful. So, like, that's
So.
the. What's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the
So.
poison that I want you to avoid there, where it's like, wait, they're starting to take some risks after they stop making sense. So you can watch either, but you really have to use your brain while watching either to figure out, wait, okay, in Owl, he's able to do this because his teammate threatened here. My teammate is sometimes going to do that, so I can be aware when they are, but I have to be aware that I can't always do this play because my teammate might not threaten here. Whereas the streamer, wait, hadn't they already won that fight? Isn't he taking needless risk at that point? Like, that's sort of a balance of the two. Um, so I don't have a strong preference. I say Owl because I like the higher level play. I think, hey, this is more interesting. But ultimately, yes, there is going to be some frustration there.
Yeah, but my issue with the Overwatch League is not that I don't trust my team yet. My it's a different game to me. Like let's give an example. Kings Row.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Kings Row, I know where my team will be stationed. My enemy team will be. But when I see a Kings Row game in Overwatch League, I see Orisa in high ground in weird position, and
Mm-hmm.
there's Diva going down, going up, Baptiste and Anna in high ground. It's just different game to me. It's just
Okay.
doesn't I can't tell it. I know they are doing right, and when I go Baptiste in Kings Row and I go that spot, it is strong. It is wrong. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that is it
Sure.
is wrong or doesn't work. It works, but I will not expect that the enemy Baptiste will to be there or there will be
Sure.
an Orisa in high ground. It's
I
just
I would argue
different
that
game.
I would argue that top 500 ladder games also look quite a bit different than gold and plat games do. But yeah,
Yes,
I do hear what you're saying.
but I can
Yes.
relate. But I can relate. I can relate to top
Okay.
500. Yeah.
Okay.
I watch YouTube. I watch Twitch. It's
Sure.
I can relate even. But Overwatch League is different level.
That's
It's
fine.
different.
I don't have an
different
issue
stuff.
with you doing
Mm.
streamers instead of Overwatch League. Like that does not bother me even slightly. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
No. So this is our third session. Then
Yep.
the fourth session will be. I should be like in better position. So yeah, it will take time.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So maybe expect me in like 1 week or more.
That sounds good.